Hello everyone. Welcome to Shirabu's birthday special. What do you know, I actually wrote another birthday special after ages and ages. Obviously this is part of the Mute semi-series because that's just where we are in the story. So it's going to be on the background of this little special. As always, special thanks to my lovely patrons and all of you who subscribe and watch these videos. You are keeping this channel alive and going. Thank you very much, and I hope you will enjoy. Even the strongest of strong wouldn't be able to keep the smile off of their faces upon seeing their partner thriving, despite still staying in a hospital after a horrifying injury. And Shirabu definitely wasn't the strongest when it came to Same. Are you sure you don't want my help? True to his nature and recent state of his health, Semi flashed him a bright smile and lightly shook his head while he continued on diligently cutting the tofu on his plate into tiny pieces. It was endearing, Shirabu had to admit, and a small miracle too. Up until last week, Semi was only allowed to eat liquid stuff or pire due to the injury and worries about his swallowing function. Of course, he wasn't out of danger yet, which was why Shirabu was there with him, but switching to solid food was a huge step in recovery. You're so stubborn sometimes, you know that? Semi just shrugged before nudging Shirabu's own plate closer to him. I told you I'll wait for you. He sighed when Semi narrowed his eyes at him, reluctantly taking a spoon and digging into the curry. Emotional manipulation at its finest. A soft huff escaped Semi's nose, and Shirabu's heart fluttered. He missed hearing Semi's laugh, the same amount he missed his voice and singing, but he was going to take what was given to him. The important thing was that Semi was in the mood to laugh at all. He glanced around the mostly empty cafeteria, taking a deep breath before he reached over the table to gently squeeze Semi's hand. The gesture earned him another knee-weakening smile that chased heat into his cheeks. But that was fine. Semi deserved to be on the receiving end of affection too, especially now, and Shirabu was going to deliver, no matter his own embarrassment. Do you want to go for a walk later? The weather is pretty good today, and I've heard the herd of deer is roaming in the garden. Semi's eyes no less than sparkled, and Shirabu could swear he heard the rattling of Cupid's arrow that just pierced his chest. This wasn't good for his mental health. Or maybe it was, since he couldn't recall feeling down for the whole week. You really are a miracle, Aita. My miracle. They settled on one of the many benches in the hospital garden, enjoying the serenity and peace of the place that was otherwise connected to stress and worries. Yet, watching Semi's skin no less than glow under the sun rays as if he was some kind of ethereal forest creature from fairy tales, Shirabu found it difficult to remember the bad things. That is, if he managed to avoid looking at the still very visible scar running across his beloved's delicate throat. The sight still sent chills down his spine, no matter how much time had passed since the night. Even though he knew Semi was out of the worst, the victory line was still far ahead. And who knew if even that would be enough for their lives to return to normal? If Semi would ever be able to speak again, let alone sing. Stop with this. Be glad he's doing well now. That's important. He blinked himself awake from the swarm of thoughts when Semi tapped his hand. Guilt for bringing the mood down again flooding his mind when he noticed Semi's concerned expression. It's alright, I'm just thinking. Semi furrowed his brow and opened his mouth, frustration visibly crossing his face before he reached for his phone. The same thing as before? Huh? Oh, no, not that. Something else. He did, of course, still think about Sakura and her request, no matter how much he tried to avoid the topic. But as of lately, it seemed like Sakura's health was getting better, giving him hope they wouldn't have to follow through. Hopefully. Then what got you so down so suddenly? A sour chuckle escaped Shirabu's mouth, his eyes involuntarily straying to Semi's throat again. Sorry, I'm being a mood killer again, aren't I? Doesn't matter. What's wrong? I'll help if I can. You can't, that's the thing. You are the victim here. You can just wait and hope, just like me. It's so frustrating, you know, seeing how much damage that guy did to you and not being able to do anything more than what was already done. He folded his head in his palms, despair washing over him like a giant wave. I want you to be okay. I want to do more for you, to make sure you'll be okay, but I can't. I can't even tell you if you'll ever talk again. What kind of doctor am I if I can't even help my boyfriend? His breath hitched when he suddenly got yanked to the side, but soon the familiar warmth of Semi's presence surrounded him like a blanket. So soothing, his own ability to speak disappeared for a few moments. A soft hum resonated through Semi's chest, and it didn't take much for Shirabu to understand. Stop saying things like that, the hag said. You've done your best. You are too kind to me. Semi clicked his tongue before pulling away, just far enough to comfortably cup Shirabu's cheeks. Moving on instinct, Shirabu closed his eyes and leaned forward, feeling pressure building behind his eyelids with the softest touch of Semi's lips on his own. You did all you could. He's still here thanks to you. Even if he never speaks a word again, he's alive. You can still hug him, kiss him, see him. Nothing's more important than that. He missed the contact immediately after Semi pulled away again, the smile curling his lips telling him Semi was aware of that. Under normal circumstances, it would probably make Shirabu grumpy, but this time he just sighed softly and leaned his forehead on Semi's shoulder. Sorry, I should be grateful for what I have, right? Semi hummed again, sounding much more content, and then nudged his phone into Shirabu's line of sight. Have you thought of a birthday present yet? Birthday? Whose birthday? Yours, of course. It's in 2 days, remember? Shirabu froze. Amid all the stress and worries, he completely forgot about something as unimportant as his birthday. But of course, Semi remembered. He always did. That said, he wasn't in a mood to celebrate anything. Not when his boyfriend was still in the hospital. And so he shook his head, focusing solely on Semi's presence instead. I don't need anything. Just you being okay. That's all I want. He was sure Semi would coo at him for that if he could, but he supposed he could give him a pass this time around. Perhaps he was growing a bit soft, but in the end, this was his boyfriend he was soft to. Whoever would blame him for that could go fuck themselves. Should we go see the deer? A light kiss landed in his hair before he was pulled up from the bench, much more cheerfully than he anticipated. At least there wasn't anyone who could hear the embarrassing squeal. Are you serious? He can go home? The older doctor smiled at him knowingly, while Shirabu had to hold back with everything he had not to start vibrating with excitement at his superior's words. His state is stable enough that we can let him finish the second stage of recovery at home. So yes, he can indeed go home today. Under the condition you will take responsibility for overseeing the recovery process. Yes, of course. I'll make sure everything goes well, I promise. The man nodded, apparently satisfied with the answer. I expected nothing less from you, young man. I'll see the necessary documents prepared then. When you are ready, stop by the office to sign them, alright? Yes, thank you so much. He bowed deeply, and then nothing was stopping him from rushing to the familiar room, his heart hammering into his ribs with excitement. He sped up with every step, almost trotting by the end before he came to a halt in front of the all too familiar door. Taking a few seconds to compose himself, he knocked gently on the door, surprised to find Sammy already putting his things into the bag. Ada? Are you... The smile Sammy gave him rivaled the sun itself, chasing heat into Shirabu's cheeks. He quickly cleared his throat and read the note Sammy handed him. The doctor said I'm allowed to go home today. Isn't that awesome? Shirabu couldn't but return the smile, nor could he stop himself from squeezing Sammy in his arms. Yeah, it is. I was actually about to tell you that, but I guess the old geezer ruined the surprise for you. Light shivers ran down his spine when Sammy laughed, or, well, as much as he could, the sound feeling like the most soothing balm on his soul. He would give anything to be able to stay in the embrace forever, without care for anything else in the world except for the man holding him, but alas, they had packing to do. At least he could now look forward to coming home again. Do you need help with packing? I know you are allowed to go home now, but you shouldn't exert yourself too much yet. You wouldn't allow that anyway. Of course not. I have a responsibility for you now, and I don't plan on making you go back here when I can finally have you home. Sammy flashed him a cheeky grin before his face softened again. Before Shirabu could say anything, Sammy kissed his forehead and then skipped back to his bed to grab a small bag, which he then handed to Shirabu. What's that? At Sammy's glance telling him, "You'll see when you open it," Shirabu took a peek inside and paused, his mind short-circuiting for a second. Ada, that's... He carefully pulled the tiger plushie out, the very same one he had been eyeing for over a week in the little toy shop on the hospital's ground floor. Instead of a note, a colorful card was handed to him. Happy birthday, darling. May you stay in good health and all your wishes come true this year. I hope I'll be able to accompany you on all the steps of the way. And I hope you like your present. I'm proud of you. Love, Eita. The writing turned blurry even before Shirabu finished reading. He quickly turned away, trying to conceal the tears entering his eyes. However, since his attempt was clearly in vain, he opted for throwing himself around Sammy's neck, only careful not to accidentally hurt him. You're so dumb, Eita. I told you I don't need anything. He sniffed, his fingers curling convulsively into the fabric of Sammy's t-shirt. Of course I love the gift. It's the best thing I could have gotten. And the plushie is nice too, I guess. Truly, he couldn't wish for a better birthday present than having his boyfriend back home. A childlike excitement brightened Sammy's face the second they entered their flat. Not that Shirabu was surprised. After all, he did spend almost 3 months away from home. He was worried how Sammy would react to the reminders of what he lost that fateful night, namely to his music room and the guitar he left in the living room all those months ago and which Shirabu couldn't bring himself to put away. But seeing his boyfriend now, clearly happy and full of zeal to finally cuddle with their cats, he realized he didn't have to worry so much. Sure, he expected the sorrow to come eventually when everything would settle, but for now, they could enjoy the little things. You should go unpack. Or rather throw it into the laundry. You have clean clothes on the bed. Sammy gave him a thumbs up before heading to the washing machine with his bag, leaving Shirabu alone in the living room. It's not lonely anymore, though. Indeed, even the air and light as if changed, feeling much brighter and fresher than before. It's the little things. He startled when his phone rang into the silence. Surprised to see one of the nurses from their section calling him during his day off, he hesitantly accepted the call. Yes? Is everything alright? Sorry to bother you, Shirabu-san, but I'm afraid this can't wait. Can you get to the hospital? I suppose. What's wrong? It's about one of your patients. She relapsed suddenly, and we need you here, ASAP. Shirabu's blood ran cold. He didn't need to hear the patient's name to know. Alright, I'll be there in a moment. Eita! His heart ached upon seeing Sammy's face fall immediately after rounding the corner. I have to go back to the hospital. Emergency. Don't do anything stupid while I'm away, okay? I'll be back soon, I promise. With that, he bolted out of the door and to their car, his heart pounding wildly in his chest and silent prayer on his lips. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I need to kick this series into movement, finally, because how long has it been since the first installment in the series? I need to work on it. God damn. Before everyone forgets what it's about. That would be a shame, because I'm actually really looking forward to that part of the plot, let's say. So, apart from Sammy's recovery, of course. Unfortunately, that's the case with a lot of the series. Very unfortunate. If you have any requests or ideas, the request form is linked in the video description. See you next time.